What if you could control the web with your mind? What if telekinesis was real?
What is going on, Patriots? Check, check, 1, 2. Chat, how we doing? My good? My audio good? Check, check. What's going on? Welcome in, Patriots. Another glorious overcast afternoon here in sunny Florida on the 16th of June. So, what do we got? Oh yeah, check me in. I'm on YouTube, Bitchute, Trovo, Twitch. Just opened up a Twitch, TheMinuteMenReport. Tap in. We're going to be having giveaways soon. Going to open up the Discord to callers soon. Whole things, big things coming, big things. Few things in the news. I didn't even print anything out. I like to keep it basic. Normally I like to keep everything all printed out. But today I just got it on my phone. I'm just starting to do the live stream, and I really should be pulling everything up on my desktop, and you guys can see all the news articles. That's coming soon too. Just give me some time. Bear with me here. One step at a time. So, I guess we'll get into it. We got the news going on. First, it was a shooting, actually, just in northeast Texas. 2 suspects were detained. I guess they were taking kids hostage and all that. This is in Honey Grove. Oh, man. Got the first guest on the show, my mom. Hello, Mom. What's going on? Okay. Alright. Okay, cool. You're the first guest caller on live news at noon, so say hi to everybody, Mom.
Oh, hi.
What's up? Not too many people tuning in right now, but we're trying to change that around. But anyway,
Okay.
But yeah, that sounds good. Alright.
I just wanted to call you before I end up forgetting.
Alright, cool. Well, sounds
All right,
good.
well, good luck with your show.
Thanks, Bob. Love you.
Love you.
Bye. It's only big ups to moms out there. Everybody, you got a mom that's around, give her a hug. Alright, back to it. We got a shooter. 2 shooters actually were detained. This was actually just this morning. Guy had body armor firing an AK-47 responding emergency personnel. Shot at some cops. 2 officers were hit. Guy had 2 children inside the home. This was according to, I think, Houston local news I seen. I'll have more details on that tomorrow. But that just happened. What else going on today? National Fudge Day. That's what's happening in the news. National Fudge Day. Don't get you a bite. It's about all I can do is literally just a bite of fudge. I'm a cookie guy. I'm a cake guy. Let's see. Biden and Putin are live in Geneva right now if you want to go check that out. I don't have too many people tuning in, so if the rest of you guys want to just go check that out, that's live right now. Let's see what else I got. Alright, so I guess Twitter has become the first American platform to lose its legal shield in India for third-party content. I don't know if that's global or not. I don't know if that's the first time a platform lost its legal shield in the world or just in India. I don't know. Well, let's start. Maybe we can get something going. It's crazy that India's got more freedom of speech than America does. We're kind of setting that precedent at this point, that everybody else is looking to America like, I don't know about them guys. So what else do we got here? Alright, start at the top. So Moscow orders mandatory jabs now in most retail and service sectors according to the AP. That's going on. So Russia's going to decide additional mandates in the country on a region-by-region basis. That's always how it starts, though. It starts with just one. And they set the precedents. It pierces the veil. Next thing you know, it just moves in. It's a grooming process. That's how that works. You guys should know this by now if you're tuned in. If you're tuned in here, you're tapped in there. So, you know. So, I just posted on my page, actually, on YouTube. Go check that out. Zero Hedge. According to Zero Hedge, if you're homeless, get to San Francisco. Because Prop 47, they passed that a while ago. But it's going nuts out there. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like an encampment out there. Needles everywhere. There's feces on the ground. You go into most cities, it smells like piss. It's pretty disgusting. But just posted a video of some guy going in, loading up a garbage bag of, loaded up a whole garbage bag of God knows what. Walked right out the store. Everybody's got their phones, just filming the guy. And that's it. I guess Prop 47, we got lowered penalties for thefts under $950. So everybody's just coming. It started with the BLM. People had to have a reason to just walk out of stores with stuff like it's no big deal. But now it's pretty much at that point now where people are just long hair don't care, short hair don't care. I mean, you go ahead and lower the penalties for thefts under $950 in California. I mean, what do you expect to happen? People are not getting arrested for less, or people are not getting arrested for more, I should say. So just waltz right into a store, big trash bag. What else we got? Oh, this is a big story. This just came out on Tucker Carlson last night. Because Putin just came out on this interview basically kind of insinuating that the government was involved on January 6th and just kind of raising some questions about people that weren't detained, that should have been detained, and that are on record. And these FBI documents, I guess, just got released. Let's see. Well, they basically posted a whole transcript on Fox. So I'm just going to read how Tucker Carlson basically laid out his whole spiel because he's got a way to turn a phrase. So I'm just going to read it how he wrote it. So we got this weekend, police in Columbus, Georgia arrested a 39-year-old man called Justin Tyron Roberts over the course of a single day. Oh, wait, no, this isn't it. Sorry. This isn't it. Let's see. First he goes to talk about how the ex-FBI director, Merrick Garland, he comes and says that the most top domestic threat is white supremacy. And then these same people won't shut up about January 6th. And they're trying to conflate the two and try to say the whole reason for January 6th is because of white supremacy, which we all know, like, that doesn't even make any sense. But they want justification for this white supremacy thing to pass. So Tucker Carlson goes on to explain these same people won't shut up about it. Then he plays that tape of Putin. What else? They're hiding more than 10,000 hours of surveillance tape from the U.S. Capitol. Obviously, Tucker Carlson explains all this better. I'm just kind of hitting the rough draft of it. All right, so strangely, some people who participated in the riot haven't been charged. These documents that he's referring to, which I haven't found these documents. I'd like to know which documents he's referring to. He says that there are people that were involved in January 6th who were unindicated co-conspirators. Yeah, unindicated co-conspirators. And what does that mean? It means that potentially in every case, they're FBI operatives. So if in these FBI documents it says unindicated co-conspirators, it means that they're basically informants or they're working for the FBI. So one of these unindicated co-conspirators is someone the government identifies only as person 2 in these documents. And according to these documents, person 2 stayed in the same hotel room as an insurrectionist named Thomas Caldwell, who's alleged to be a member of the Oath Keepers. And person 2 also stormed the barricades. So this guy was in the hotel room with him. He stormed the barricades with him, according to these documents. Okay. The government's indictments further indicate that Caldwell, who, by the way, is a 65-year-old man, was led to believe there was a quick reaction force also participating in jail. So somehow he was under the assumption that there were white hats that were coming to save the day too. So this guy in the Oath Keepers somehow felt like that was going on. Could it have been because of this unindicated person 2? We don't know. So that reaction force, he was told, would be led by someone called person 3, who had a hotel room and also an accomplice. So these two guys in 2 different hotel rooms, 2 of them are operatives working for the FBI, and the other 2 guys are being led to believe that there's a quick reaction force that's going to be going down. Okay, how did they come to find out what this quick reaction force is? Was that what the FBI was trying to find out, or was that what the FBI was telling them? It's a very fine line there. All right, so person 2 and person 3 were organizers of the riot. Okay, apparently according to these documents, they were also organizing. The government knows who they are, but the government has not charged them. Now, why is that? You know why, says Tucker Carlson. They were almost certainly working for the FBI. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. So FBI operatives were organizing the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, according to these government documents. You know how Tucker Carlson likes to do it. He likes to ask obvious questions and get everybody to kind of come up with the ideas. It's like a game of Dora the Explorer when you're watching Tucker Carlson, to be honest with you. You guys always like, where is the fox? I don't know. Okay, so The Revolver News, which is some strange news organization, I got to look into who actually started this Revolver News, because it could be an op altogether. That this is just coming out and this random Revolver News got the scoop. I mean, that always seems like an op whenever there's something a little bit too weird like that, you know. So we'll check out Revolver. Maybe it's a wholesome, you know, news company that just got a scoop. They're the first ones on the scoop. But according to Revolver News, there was upwards of 20 unindicated co-conspirators in the Oath Keepers indictments, all playing various roles in the conspiracy. So it was 20 other of these, person number 1, person number 2, in this Oath Keepers indictment that's currently under wraps. There's 10,000 hours of footage that the government's not releasing, but in some of these documents involving this indictment on January 6th, we're finding out that there's these person number 2, person number 3, and we don't know if these person are trying to find intel, or we don't know if they're trying to feed intel. Okay, this is according to Revolver News. So there's 20 of these unindicated co-conspirators that are claimed to be working for the FBI in this indictment, playing various roles in the conspiracy, who have not been charged for virtually the exact same activities. So these are informants, they're claiming. So in order to bring up the fact that they're not being charged, they can't be FBI agents, because you don't charge an FBI agent in a case. So in order to say why aren't we charging them, then they're informants at this point. So in some such cases, in some cases much more severe activities as those named alongside them in the indictments. So what that is, I don't know. What are these much more severe activities than the conspiracy they're talking about? I don't know. But these unindicated co-conspirators, apparently, there's a little bit of eyebrows being raised about these guys. So turns out that this white supremacist insurrection was, again, led by the government's own admission in these documents, organized, at least in part, by government agents. Let's see, some more stuff from Tucker Carlson. Just kind of asking the obvious. Let's see. In March, the FBI director admitted the Bureau is infiltrating as many dissident groups as it possibly could. So Senator Amy Klobuchar, you know her name, she looks like a troll. She looks like some troll underneath a bridge. Just, ugh. So she says, she's always hunched like this. There must be moments where you think, if we would have known, if we could have infiltrated this group or found out what they were doing, and that, you have those moments, she says. Okay, and then Ray says, at any time there is an attack, especially one that's this horrific, that strikes right at the heart of our system. The government, right at the time of transfer of power is being discussed, you can be darn tooting that we are focused very, very hard on how we could get better sources, better information, better analysis, so that we can make sure that something like that, what happened on January 6th, never happens again, according to current director Ray. So they have people inside of these fringe right militia organizations that are exercising their Second Amendment, whatever your opinion is. They have these either agents or whistleblowers, but they call them co-indicators, or unindicated co-conspirators is what they're calling them. Are they on FBI payroll? Or are they just informants? We don't know. But Ray's got him in there. You better believe. He just admitted it. Of course, Tucker points out the obvious again. There's a big difference between using an informant to find out what a group's threatening to do and paying people to organize a violent action. What is yada yada yada. And then he goes on to even point out Putin's article again. And this is the strangest part about this, is that this is all coming out now, right after Putin makes this thing. Like, Putin's even coming out. Putin's claiming to be a communist. Putin's a communist, and look at what America's doing. And America's sitting there looking at what happened like, what are we doing to ourselves? I think it's all just so eventually we're being groomed to look around and skip right over socialism, and next thing you know, we're right into communism. People are already getting checks. We have unemployment at a rapid rate. I mean, so he's bringing up the obvious. Is this whole thing an op? We don't know. I mean, it happened. So people got duped, and it's up to, did they dupe everybody in order to build this narrative? I mean, did these white hats put Trump in office to radicalize everybody, shine a light on all the corruption, just to groom everybody, to take away our democratic process? Did they purposely steal the election, and then they're going to soon show proof and still say 99 boo boo, there's nothing you can do as a way to disrupt the democratic process? Is this all a part of it? Is this all a part of the grooming process? I mean, we don't know. And this is a good question, too, that he brings up right here, because Governor Gretchen Whitmer, I know you guys remember her, that op that ended up happening with her, the plot to kidnap her. And there was half the people were FBI agents that were involved. I don't know if you guys remember that. Let's see. Yeah, they were going to drive up to her house and throw her in the back of the van. So the guy that was the mastermind behind this was this guy, Adam something. And he was basically just living in a basement. He was kind of homeless, which really isn't even the whole of the story. But it's some guy that obviously does not have somebody that has a cult following of these insurrectionists. Obviously, there's money behind it. You see in all these major protests, there's lobbyists behind it, there's money behind it. So if there really was a grassroots something going on, you'd figure this guy wouldn't be living on a floor. That's besides the point, though. Turns out that of the 5 people in this Gretchen Whitmer kidnap van, half of them were FBI agents. Another was an FBI informant. So 2 of them were FBI agents. One was an FBI informant. So was there 2 guys that were, they probably got led to believe that there was a reaction force, just like those unindicated co-conspirators told those oath keepers that had the hotel room side by side. I mean, they're kind of blowing smoke up these people's butts, getting them all amped up and hopped up on meth in the Constitution to go and do these crazy things, and then they say, look, we got justification, there's these white supremacists here. People that otherwise probably would have had nothing to do with this. Probably funded them. Hey, look, we'll put you up. This guy's homeless. They probably baited him with some money. Complete op, probably. So, let's see what else we got here. So there was another big story about a guy who suggested using a bomb to blow up a bridge as part of a plot. That guy was an undercover FBI agent. That just completely got brushed under the rug. FBI agent trying to start an op, and nothing. A classic Smollett 101. So, Tucker Carlson goes on, if you're wondering why they're always comparing January 6th to 9/11, there's your answer. They're using the same tactics, and a lot of us missed this the first time around. We didn't see the obvious. If you empower the government to violate civil liberties in pursuit of a foreign terror organization, it's just a matter of time before ambitious politicians use those same mechanisms to suppress political dissent. So now you're going to lump everybody into a category. Anybody going against the grain is pretty much can be a political prisoner at that point, because you can sit there and try to conflate nationalism with white supremacy, and then next thing you know, any nationalist is a white supremacist. Any nationalist is a Nazi. I mean, that's Bolshevism 101 right there. Okay, and that's what we're seeing now. Tucker Carlson says we should have seen it earlier. Trevor Aronson's book, The Terror Factory, analyzed every terrorism prosecution from 2001 to 2013. And this guy in this book found that at least 50 defendants were on trial because of the behavior that the FBI had not only encouraged, but enabled. So FBI agents were essentially the plotters in these crimes. They made the crimes essentially. This other writer for The Nation, 2012, Petra Artrowiczek. I mean, what is up with all these Russian names and Russian? Found the FBI informants had, quote, crossed the line from merely observing potential criminal behavior, which is allowed and good, to encouraging and assisting people to participate in plots that are largely scripted by the FBI itself. I mean, so there we go. Is this story coming out right now just to radicalize more people? Is it coming out to partially radicalize more people, or is it partially a part of the grooming process. Like, look what we're doing right in front of your face, and you're not going to do anything about it. Is it a little bit of both? Does one dialectic feed into the other dialectic? Do the people get so fed up that they end up overreacting, and next thing you know, it's justification for these same mechanisms of domestic terror laws that they're trying to create right now? I mean, and then does that go and feed into the other dialectic of what do we do? There's nothing that we can do, you know? I mean, who knows? Everything's a controlled op. There's a reason why everything's kind of happening right now. Playing a narrative and creating a narrative is more than just making things happen. It's making things happen on both sides of the paradigm, you know, because they're either going to spin it a completely different way on the left in order to get people on their side to hate the right more so that they can fill whatever narratives. It's I don't know, pretty well. Look carefully, that's not an exaggeration, says Tucker Carlson. One of those plots was an Islamic terrorist attack in 2015 in Garland, Texas. It turns out the FBI played an active role in that shooting. This is on Anderson Cooper, actually, reported this, what he's talking about. Anderson Cooper was basically asking some guy, was the FBI really closer on the Garland attack than they let on? And he's like, yeah, after the trial, we found out they had an undercover agent who had been texting this Elton Simpson guy less than 3 weeks before the attack to him, tear up Texas. So this FBI agent was telling this guy to tear up Texas, which to me is an encouragement to Simpson. So even if these guys, it's really entrapment is really what it is at the highest level, the political level. It's entrapment. That's like saying whenever you have these drug busts of these cops that have kilos of cocaine and they try to find a buyer, and they seize cocaine, they have kilos, and then they try to go find a buyer and they bust that guy for trying to buy their coke. It's like that's essentially what these FBI agents are doing. They're trying to bust everyone for falling into their narrative. You know, that's essentially what it is. It's really entrapment. The whole January 6th was entrapment at the highest level. Let's see what else we got in the news. Oh yeah, and then this was another thing too. This is kind of an interesting take on it, because the FBI assistant director, Frank Figliuzzi, he explained to MSNBC, the goal is to round up political dissenters and throw them in solitary, including members of Congress. And then he goes on to quote, I don't even have the quote, but he quotes this guy, Frank Figliuzzi, and the guy's pretty much like, you know, he's Mueller's guy. So of course, you know, that's just that side of the paradigm doesn't mean anything. But Mueller's guy comes out, this assistant director, and says he's ex-assistant director actually. He's not anymore, and says a couple years ago that even members of Congress, we got to even look out for them. So that's setting a precedence right there. As soon as you go start talking about stuff like that, I don't know. That's pretty loose rhetoric. Whenever you're radicalizing people. I mean, when you're talking about the deep state, okay, yeah, you know, whether you're talking about the deep state or whether you're talking about January 6th, okay, and you're talking about these people are just white supremacist Nazis, okay. No matter what, it's radical rhetoric, okay. It's that's the whole it's disrupting the democratic process, okay. This is so, and it's the same thing where you're going to have radicals in the races too. I mean, you're seeing all of these like white on black people. I just reported it yesterday. A white guy drove into a crowd of Black Lives Matter protesters. Young guy, idiot, and God knows why, going 100 miles an hour, killed somebody at a Black Lives Matter protest. Okay, and then you have the same thing I was just about to report. These two random guys out of Mississippi. This happened a few days ago. Completely killed this guy coming to buy a four-wheeler, white guy, country good old boy. There was, and here's the thing. I was going to report on this. I might as well try to get into it now, because if this was just a robbery, because before I even reported on it, I'm not just going to report some random homicide because, you know, whatever. But it happens every day. But this one was a little particular and it caught my eye only because the bullets were sprayed. It wasn't like they just tried to get his money and it was like a close altercation. Bullets were sprayed across his truck, across his trailer, like he pulled up and drove off, or he was just I don't know. It could have been a deal gone wrong. I don't know. But we're seeing both sides of the paradigm here. White on black crime, black on white crime, and it's just radicalizing both sides, justifying each other into this Chinese finger trap of pulling us further and further away from freedom, not closer and closer to anything like a normal finger trap. It's like a reverse finger trap is what's going on, radicalizing everybody. So there was that story. That was out of Mississippi. Rest in peace. Can't even find it. I'd like to find the guy's name just because, say his name, kind of thing. But, I'll get to it. I'll find it. So 4 kilos of fentanyl busted in San Francisco yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It was so pure, it had the potential to kill every San Francisco citizen 4 times over. That's crazy. 4 kilos. 4 kilos of pure fentanyl has enough to kill every single citizen. I wouldn't say citizen. I would say every single. Well, I mean, yeah, citizen. I mean, did it kill citizens? I don't know how many of them were citizens and actually probably overdosed. But 4 kilos of pure fentanyl has enough to kill every single person living in San Francisco 4 times. That's pretty intense. So I guess fentanyl overdoses have jumped 2,100% over the last 4 years. I think it was 5 years. I think I miswrote that. Fentanyl overdoses have jumped 2,100% over the last. I wouldn't even know how to, 500%. What is that, like quintuple or whatever it is, quadruple? We know what's 21. What's 21 times? Is there even a word for that? Killed 4,000 people in California last year. That's crazy. I want to put that side by side with some other statistics that are out and see what's killing what more. I know tuberculosis killed a couple million people last year, and that's completely under the rug. And we know the same amount of people from last year died from the year before that. So it's kind of like nature seems to balance itself out, even with human intervention. Seems a little strange. I mean, that's just on record, though. That's just what we know. Let's see what we got here. We got Daily Mail yesterday. This is a funny story. So Neanderthals and Homo sapiens lived together in Israel's Negev desert 50,000 years ago. Carbon dating research find. So I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but there was rumor of a great war between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, between who was going to be the dominant of the human species. Basically, that was like the first great war. The research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences notes that the earliest known, this was in Africa, by the way. There was a shift, and some Homo sapiens got left on top in Africa, and that's why they end up coming out looking more African. The Neanderthals stayed on the bottom, and that's why they look a certain way in the Middle East. Early man, or I might have it backwards, but that's basically what it was. And then at some point, they kind of met in the middle sometime around. I don't know. There's a whole story. You guys can look into it. The Great Caveman War. So, but yeah, apparently they lived in Israel. So was this like was this the story of Jacob and Esau? Was this was Abraham's first wife Sarah a Neanderthal, and he left her when he was 100 years old for Rebecca, a Homo sapien? Was that so they could have Isaac? Was this like was this the original story of the chosen ones, the Neanderthal and the Homo sapiens? Because was it the Homo sapiens won the Great Caveman War of 40,000 BC? Is that what this is about? I don't know. So, oh yeah, this is back to that story I was talking about. Say his name. Kyle Craig, Ocean Springs man, got killed by 2 guys, Montavious and Darius. So this guy's name's Kyle, and he got killed by Montavious and Darius. Bullet sprayed on his car. Not going to add any political commentary. We're just going to leave it at that. But yeah, like I said, all of this race war is on both sides of the paradigm. It's literally just radicalizing everybody and giving the government justification to call anybody a domestic terrorist. Because anybody that does any act of violence, any political act of violence, first it was radicalizing everybody with the idea of a deep state. Because both sides are both completely corrupt. There is no deep state. They're all on both sides. Like it's us. That's how that works. So they radicalize everybody with the deep state, and now they're radicalizing everybody with this white supremacy thing. They radicalized everybody before when Clinton lost. I mean, they're just priming something to happen. And then we have all these federal ops that I just discussed a little bit ago that are part of these unindicated co-conspirators in the January 6th event. FBI informants or FBI agents actually fueling the fire of January 6th. This just came out on Tucker Carlson. I mean, they're priming something. You guys, join me on YouTube, join me on Bitchute, Trovo, Twitch, Minutemen Report. Subscribe, like, all that. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got here. I think that's pretty much it here, guys. That's pretty much it. We're like, what is it? A couple hours in or something? I don't even know. Chat, what's up? You guys got anything to say? We got a few people in. Chat, what do you guys want to talk about? What's on your guys' mind? Taking a break. Let's hear something. We got some people on Dlive, people on Twitch. Let's hear something. Taking a break. How conservative like that? I don't really, very conservative like that. Not one of them guys that just smokes and like blows it in a dog's face or. My girlfriend's dog loves smoke. It's kind of weird if he was out here right now. Here, I'm gonna go get him. You guys can see him. He's really an addict. Really, I'm really trying not to enable him because he's really. What you doing, boy? Come here. Come on. What you got to say to these people, bro? What you got to say? What do you got to say? Come here. See, I'm gonna show you how much of an addict he is. I don't know if you gotta blow it in his face. I'll blow it this way. Oh, now you're not gonna do it? Alright, well. Come on, boy. Come here. It's only in my face. He won't shut up. What are you doing, bro? Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, he's the man. But anyway, guys, it's been a little bit. I think we might be tapping out for the day. I'm going to be in tomorrow. Well, I mean, there's still more in the news. I mean, for anybody that didn't tune in what's going on. It's a 24-hour news cycle, literally. So there's literally things always going on. Yesterday, Israel already started bombing Gaza. As soon as Netanyahu gets out, already started bombing Gaza. It didn't take any time at all. Supposedly this guy was taking over, was supposed to be more radicalized, and everybody's like, yeah, Netanyahu's out, but the bombing continues. They're literally locking these people into Gaza, turning it into a concentration camp. They're not letting anybody go. And they're saying, hey, look, Hamas is in there, so we got to do something about it. And they're completely moving people out of the West Bank. I mean, completely delocating, just pushing people out of their homes. This is going on in Israel right now. They're just kicking people out. And I guess Netanyahu, the guy that basically was on Team America for all the Middle Eastern wars that helped them out, I guess he wasn't radical enough, so maybe that's why they got rid of him. Maybe he wasn't the guy that was getting all the bombings done, so maybe that's why we're seeing it's really sickening. I'm really not even trying to make light of it because there's children that are getting killed out there. There's little kids, and they're it's really disgusting. It really is. And it's one of those things, they were gifted Israel, and really saying anything against Israel is technically anti-Semitism. Honestly, there are places in the world where you can get locked up for talking bad about Israel. It's really strange. And but they were gifted Israel, and a lot of people don't know that Israel hasn't been around since 50, 60 years. 60 years or something like that. They got gifted Israel, and the people that were living there, they just kind of pushed them off to the side and said, look, and ever since then, they kind of have just been pushing them further and further away, and it's really what it comes down to. And Israel is, their deed is by God. They claim that, the first covenant of God to Moses promised them Israel. So, that was the first covenant. So, the way they look at it is, this is our land, and it's just strange why they wouldn't be given a part of Germany. If Germany did it to them, if it was, Why that bombing? These bombings wouldn't even be going. Like, why wouldn't Germany? Germany had to essentially give them. Is still paying them money to this day over World War II. Why wouldn't they just push them off to the side and say, hey, look, now we get this area. Like, I don't understand how that ended up happening. It's really strange, but that's going on. Like I said, we're just in a 24-hour news cycle, literally just constantly. Let's see what else we got worth bringing back up. Cashier shot dead in Georgia supermarket the day before yesterday for telling man to wear a face mask. That happened, so it's a shame. In Florida, we just got over. We just gave up our. DeSantis has already got us out of state of emergency. Told everybody not to abide by mask mandates, but county and local orders are coming down, and people are still in this spectrum of fear, and so they can't. It's hard to actually get rid of it. You'd be surprised just telling people that they don't have to wear it anymore. How many people aren't just ripping this thing off and actually throwing it? Because you would figure freedom, you know what I mean? But so many people, it's like their safety blanket. It's like what these people are just clutching onto. So it's hard for the governor to say, hey, look, you guys got to do this, or you guys don't have to do this anymore. And people are still like, we're good, we want to. Like, to where it's becoming like we don't want it to become a fad, like just some other piece of clothing, because you can't remember where that started from. You know what I mean? That started as a form of subjugation. It started as a form of you can't come here unless you do this. It's like if they would have told Rosa Parks you can't sit on the front of the bus unless you wear a face mask, what do you think she would have said? I mean, so let's not forget where it started. And it's essentially these people are just kind of going against the governor's wishes, really. It's kind of what it is, but essentially you have the right to your own personal safety and well-being, so it is kind of up to your choice, but there's a difference between just psychology and sociology. So you have the psychology of one person and what makes sense basically on pen and paper, and then you have when you actually try to apply that pen and paper onto people, that's, this how they react to it. It's a sociological experiment, and this is kind of one of those things, and we're seeing these same grooming processes that we've seen in things like Jim Jones, and we've seen in things like any of these other like MK Ultra CIA psyops, where they like groomed people to see how far with like LSD and stuff like that, how you can control the mind. And you see some of these same things, some of these same trying to think of the word, some of these same tactics that they used on these people being used on everybody, and controlling people through fear. I mean, it is what it is, I mean, that's how that works. And I mean, and we just had that case overturned where basically puts the foot in the door for a place that had a local order. First it got taken care of on the state level, and then it got taken care of Alachua County, which is Gainesville. Shout out, they just overturned this guy, like, I forget what his name was, something Green. And he was saying that it's unconstitutional, and the court overturned it, and the reason why that they even enacted the order is because they were taking it from a stance that it was constitutional. So when these bills and stuff when these bills get passed and nobody says anything about it, they're able to just take it as, well, this is what it is, it's constitutional because nobody said anything about it. That's how the court system works. So because they just did it and nobody said anything about it and people went along with it, it's the will of the people at that point. So that's how that happened. So that order got taken down from an order of it being, they didn't say, well, you can't do that because the governor said this. It's, well, these are what these provinces decide. Every county has its own freedom. Every county has its own whatever. So this is what this place apparently wanted. But apparently not, because this guy said no. He made a big enough fuss about it. So as long as someone says something when these sketchy bills are trying to get passed, they won't get passed. And that's essentially what's going on in Washington right now, is they're trying to have everybody shrug their shoulders and say, well, what can I do about it? And if you wonder what you can do about it, then you're not going to do anything about it. That's basically it. And if nobody's standing up in Washington, if all the lobbyists have everybody's pockets, and now they have a wall around Washington, they can essentially pass whatever bill that they want. It could essentially, there's not going to be anybody coming in to say, hey, look, you know, these are, before you would have feminists coming in with all the moms of America coming in because they didn't want cursing in rap music, you know, and they'd come in, and those days are over. Those women are white supremacists now, okay? Those women, those moms, those you know, those different little groups that aren't a part of the mainstream ADL and you know, even NAACP, they got started. I'm not gonna say they got started, but basically there was a lot of people on the grassroots movement that were able to go in and petition their leaders, and that has been the staple of America. And in order to stop things, not in order to get bills passed. That's not what America, you know, they're the ones that are writing bills. So the ones writing bills are the ones trying to get things passed. We're not the ones writing bills. So we're now on the other side of the football field trying to stop bills, essentially. If we disagree with them, you know, if it's something you agree with, you stand behind your politician, you stand behind your senator, you stand behind whoever, and you rally with them. And that's where constituents come from, because constituents are the ones that rally behind their congressman. They have money in their pockets, and they have the power to be able to rally behind their politician. You know, so they've conquered that domain. They've conquered the lobbyists. They've conquered the constituency of these different politicians. You know, every state, as soon as these politicians get into office, before they even get into office, you know, the lobbyists are the ones that get people in office, and it's a whole other thing. So now they're at the other end of the spectrum. They can get the bills written and get the bills lobbied, but the thing now is stopping people from saying anything about it. So, are they trying to stop people from saying anything about it? I'm not going to say. You know, that's what they're maliciously trying to do. I'm not trying to promote anything. I don't prescribe to anything. You know, I'm not involved in any, you know, sort of campaign, misinformation, disinformation. We're just trying to ask questions, and that's pretty much what we're trying to do, just ask questions. You know, so like, subscribe, share. You know, we're trying to, big things coming soon. You know, we got a few guests coming on. We're going in through the Discord, trying to bring on callers. You know, we're gonna have some people on. We're gonna be doing some co-host things. Shout out Richard the Citizen Journal. Shout out Mufasa. You know, I don't want to dox him on the thing. I almost dropped his real name. I don't know how he feels about it. So, yeah, big things coming soon. So we're just asking questions here. That's all we're trying to do. Let's see what else is coming out. We can let's look, see if anything dropped really quick. We'll see if anything's in the news. We're in a 24-hour news cycle, so you never know. All right, let's see this. Let's see if this is just an op. It says military being moved to D.C. I'm gonna have to hit up Richard about it then. We're gonna have to see. This is 2 hours ago. I'm gonna have to call him back. I'm just gonna put him on. I'm just gonna call him right now. Let's see if he answers here. Let's see. We'll ask him about DC. We'll ask him if they're trying to actually bring troops into DC. We just seen this. This broke a couple hours ago, so we can see. I haven't seen. I've been streaming a couple hours now, so we will actually see. Let's call up the guy on the floor, the guy on the ground, eyes in the sky. Let's see. You guys hear this phone okay? And live? Tap in. Let me know.
Please leave your message for...
Says call me back. I'm on live. Call me back. I'm on live. What's up with the troops in D.C.? What's up with more troops in D.C.? We'll see about that. Richard actually just reported on the ground that the FBI building in Washington was boarded up. That was the day before yesterday. So, and that went fire. That went huge, my boy. So apparently the FBI building in DC is boarded up. There's like a wall around it. I guess that's a thing. So I don't know. He also got some footage just like literally right after that about Apache helicopters, like 3 of them landing on the ground landing on the lawn, the White House lawn. That's the first time that's ever happened. And so who knows? I'm not gonna sit here and speculate. There are guys that actually have intel. The only intel that I even trust is Monkey Works. I mean, he's got his little narrative, but he has a program where he just follows all the military aircraft and all the transponders, and you look at the flight patterns and you kind of just decide for yourself, like whatever. I mean, you don't have to put any narratives behind it. There's programs where you can do that. So shout out Monkey Works, check him out. So there's activity, there's an influx. I mean, we're always shaking and moving. I mean, so interesting. Let's see what else is going on in the news. Let's see if anything else is live. Actually, I guess I've only been on live for an hour now. Scratch that. Let's see. You guys can check us back. I'm gonna restream all this back into BitChute, back into YouTube. Try not to trip the algorithms talking about anything crazy, So let's see what else came out today. So I guess the summit meeting is the Geneva. The summit meeting concluded. Now the Geneva is still going on right now. Joe Biden and Putin are talking right now. If you guys want to tap into that, so let's see what else we got. What's up with all this UFO stuff like being talked about right now? Like, it's either when they have nothing to talk about or they're trying to run an op that they always bring up UFOs. I swear. Let's see. There's a news article, be careful for rats. Yo, I'm telling you right now, I'm trying to get rid of some rats right now. I have these over at my buddy's in-law suite. We're trying to work on a project right now and get everything wrapped up over there, and there's rats in there we're trying to get rid of. I'm telling you right now, we put out some little guys, some little, old school like Tom and Jerry mousetraps, and with some peanut butter on it, and we put some big boys in there, like you break your wrist, you put it in there, and they were all tripped, peanut butter gone. These rats are freaks right now, so it might be careful. I don't know why this news article is talking about be careful for rats, but definitely they're slick. They're getting slicker these days. I think they're evolving. Let's see, we got some rat-a-tats. We don't have rats anymore. They've evolved into rat-a-tats. Pokemon reference. Which, hey, you guys can follow me on Pokemon Go too at StopTheOp. You guys already know what's up. Add me as a friend. What's up? Send some gifts. I'm on the go. I'm always trying to evolve. StopTheOp on Pokemon Go. Hit me up on MinuteMenReport on Bitchute, Trovo, YouTube, Twitch, Dlive StopTheOp on Dlive. Let's see what's up here. Let's see what Fauci means in Italian. Sickle or scythe. That's what Fauci means in Italian. Sickle or scythe. Just for you guys that are into that, connecting some dots. I mean, nothing's a coincidence. It's just not understanding the rules and laws of nature. Let's see. What else did we get? Yeah. What are you, a terrorist? Get a shot or wear a mask forever. Unless you're supremacist. And I'm talking about take a shot. YouTube algorithms. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Just for the record, I'm not promoting anything. This is actually a news article, actually. I could probably go to the news article. Let's see here. Okay. course, it's about Gavin. It's Gavin Newsom. It's just mandates. Got to take a shot to keep your job. I mean, it's going down. It's going down, guys. It's going down. We got the blockchain encryption for everything else. They're gonna say, well, you trust your banking information to blockchain. Why don't you trust your health information to blockchain? What's the big deal? It's all blockchain. It's all safe. Money's dirty. Money's filthy. What's wrong with Bitcoin? You know, those guys got away with hacking into that system in a $5 million or $6 million ransom. They got paid off in Bitcoin. The FBI never caught them. Why not just dig up the money in your backyard and put it into Bitcoin? It's just as safe. And you're on Bitcoin now. You can't spend it unless you got the blockchain, unless you prove your health certificate. It's just they're gonna reel you in, just getting reeled in, getting groomed in, and everybody thinks it's cool. Everybody's making money on it, on the electronic currency. It's all fiat, even the paper money, but it's going from one fiat to another. Gold's gonna jump up. I was actually just talking. Shout out to Francis. I guess it's not really doxing, it's his first name. There's a million Francis out there. But I'll see if he wants to go by the same name once he ends up coming on the show. We'll see. I don't know what his show name is gonna be or whatever, but he has his own. I don't know what his social media is, but real good guy. He was telling me he thinks that we're gonna go back to a gold standard, and we're not gonna go to a fiat currency. And I agreed with him. I said I think we are gonna go back to a gold standard. Gold's gonna go up high because it's actually tangible. Because there's going to be political instability when that gold does go up. But what's going to happen? You can't go and buy things with gold. There's not going to be a scale on the side of at a store. You want this T-shirt? Okay, chip off some of your gold. Like we're in the wild, wild west. It's not going to happen. It's more comfortable with. They already have the Bitcoin card and all that. It's going to be more, So gold still will be the new standard. But as far as currency goes, I think just like we have a million currencies now, What's the difference between a million digital currencies? They just don't prescribe to any one nation. That's all of a sudden blurring the lines between the countries. That's taking away the borders. That's exactly what that's doing. So, trying to get away from the borders, trying to get away from the races. They don't want no more races, all the same race, all the same border. I'm waiting for them to go for all the same religion. That's going to happen with the Third Temple. That's going to happen with the now that Netanyahu's out, and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, because everybody's the Abrahamic religions all worship the same God. Okay, you have Christianity, you have Judaism, you have Islam. It's all the same God. It's just the Christians believe the Messiah already came, so they lost the covenant. The Christians don't think the Jews are the chosen people anymore because they are ignoring the Messiah. The Jews are thinking that the Christians are idol worshippers for worshiping a man, because wasn't the Messiah. They think the Mashiach is actually amongst us at all times, and he just hasn't shown his face until whatever. And the whole thing was he's supposed to bring all the people to Israel in order to unite Israel and then build the second temple. And that's why there's a lot of people in Israel that don't, even hardcore Israelites don't want to be in Israel, because they think, well, it's against our religion to even be here right now, because technically the Mashiach's supposed to bring everybody to Israel, not World War II, So there's a lot of people that disagree with that whole thing that I was talking about earlier. So, which is, it's whatever you prescribe to. But like I said, we're already, borders are gone. One world religion, one currency. We're getting rid of the currency and the borders in one swoop. Currency and the borders are going in one thing. I'm waiting for them to try to introduce this whole thing, and they're going to try to build the temple and say, all right, and then it's kind of like, who knows? Because that's been that's the oldest script before Albert Pike, before the Illuminati conspiracies and the Freemasons and stuff. This was the original plan before there's any of these other bring about 3 world wars and all these other there was one plan there was one plan to rule them all. Before all this, before the Albert Pikes and the Belt and Road Initiative, and before the all these globalists, and before all that, there was an original plan. But so we'll see, we're seeing it happening. We're seeing people getting groomed for it. Shout out Mufasa. He was actually talking about something really, really interesting about how I'm gonna end up botching what he was talking about. I should call him right now and get him to explain it. I'm gonna call him right now because I'm gonna botch it. Let's see here. Let's get him on live to explain us how the mark of the beast coincides about how beast in Hebrew. I'm not even gonna call. I'm just gonna put the link. I don't even want to do all that because it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Watch the skies, everybody. Watch the skies. That's all I gotta say. Because I still think Project Bluebeam is gonna happen for sure. They're gonna put an image of something in the sky and try to get everybody behind this one world thing. Put some hologram up there and say, you know, if you're not believing in that and your head's going to the chopping block, I think that's gonna be, you know, what everybody's got to watch out for more than anything. And I don't know if they're gonna tie in the UFOs. They might try to tie in the UFOs. You know, they might try to be like, oh, we're all one. You know, like we're the ones that wrote all the ancient texts. We're just coming back to say what's, you know, and then really it's, you know, just people saying that we're the gods that just came back to say what's up now. And we got all this power, so worship us. Or I don't know. We're asking questions here. We're asking questions. Sign up, YouTube, Bitchute. Let's see if I can. Trovo, Twitch. I don't got my Dlive up there. My Dlive StopTheOp though. So check me out. I think we've been on for how long? Maybe an hour. Yeah, we're at a solid hour. Trying to keep it short and sweet, man. So check me out. Also, holler at me. Pokemon Go. Stop the op. We're on there. Not much, but send your boy some gifts. You know, I could use some Pokeballs. So, alright guys.